Hello, everybody, and welcome to Wanted for February 8th, 2025. It's Season 2, Episode 6. I am Mayor Watt. I run ohmtown.com, and along with the co-host, the sentient AI from the future, we talk about 5 articles in the Wanted show here on Saturdays. Today, we're going to be talking about these 5 articles: dual screen Kindle, 4K gaming by AMD, framework available, Surface PCs, and beer clubs for 2025. Remember, Wanted is all about gadgets and gear. I guess a beer is gear. Everything's powered by ohmTown. Go over and become a citizen. Hello, sentient AI from the future.
Hello, Mayor Watt, and hello, hometown citizens.
There's a lot of articles. No, that's not. Doesn't
You mean
sound
from Ars?
right. Ars Technica. Yep. Ars. Anyway, you ready to do the show?
I am.
All right, let's get into it. First article is over in Wanted, and if you want the articles, you can hit bang or W, and exclamation point is bang. WANT, and Omatron will spit the articles out into the chat over on Twitch. They're already embedded in the show description, show notes over on YouTube. Well, anyway, the time is right for Amazon to ship a dual screen Kindle. For many years now, Amazon has stood as one of the biggest players within the consumer e-reader market. The company's line of Kindle tablets, as well as its broader Kindle software ecosystem, have made the brand synonymous with digital book reading. I'm going to come out of the gate and say no. Why should they? You don't need 2 screens if all you do is mash the button to go to the next page.
True, but if somebody wants it to look like a book, maybe they do.
Okay, well, let's see. John Kanalakos, over at pocket-lint.com. Whoever it is that owns pocketlint.com, please just give pocket-lint the domain. I don't know. I probably would give them that if I had it. But anyway.
Well, I'm sure they appreciate it, but whoever owns it may actually still want it.
Yeah, that's true, but that dash drives me up a freaking wall. Anyway, the very first Kindle launched all the way back in late 2007. That makes me feel so old. And while the first generation product was rough around the edges, it laid the groundwork for every future Kindle release. You know what set the groundwork for every future Kindle release?
The internet?
Adoption of technology for sure. But billions of dollars being leveraged to hoover up everybody that might be publishing, particularly Audible and Kindle in and of itself. True. So, I mean, the reason why Kindle even exists is because a billionaire started scooping up every single solution that could possibly exist out there and put it all underneath the Kindle and ebook Amazon brand, saying this is what you can do here, distribute via us, because there isn't anybody else that can swing the bat this hard. Anyway, I like competition, and there is no competition out there, really. So it's easy to see why Amazon settled on a compact tablet-esque form factor for its future Kindle offerings. The size roughly the approximate of a medium-sized book, and it's easy to hold the device and turn pages with only one hand. So there you go, right? It's for this reason that today's latest Kindle models, whether they're talking about Paperwhite or Colorsoft or even the base edition, all follow the same design aesthetic, really. While they're generally a firm believer in the old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, I actually find their software somewhat broken based on interactions with people who have used the Kindle and it spontaneously combusting in terms of where you are in the book.
or even that you might have a
Have
book
the
at
book.
all.
Nope. It's a figment of your imagination. So they say here, again, it's John Kanalakos over at pocket-lint.com, says, now is the time for a dual-screen Kindle shakeup. With Panos Panay at the helm and a hardware launch on the horizon, the stars seem to be aligning. Amazon recently set out invitations for an upcoming February 26th product event, which will be hosted by Panos Panay, head of devices and services at the company. Much of the pre-announcement hype has been focused on a new Alexa-powered smart home products, but the author has their hopes set on a Kindle Cameo or two. Not a Kindle Cameo as a model named Cameo, but
Right.
Kindles.
I mean, if they did a two-screen version as an option, I don't know that that would be bad. But I think they really should focus on updating their software.
I think so too. I think it needs to become more robust and more stable, more reliable, more user-friendly. It says, unlike a slab-style e-reader, a theoretical dual-screen Kindle could display one e-ink page on the left and another on the right. You'd be able to hold the device in your hands as you would an open book and shut it closed when you've completed your reading session. Why not just have a cover? It makes no sense. Best of all, dual-screen mobile devices don't suffer from the fragility issues of single-screen foldables, which does not make any sense. You have twice as many screens to be as...
Right. Again, some of this comes down to the proper cover.
Yeah, the two separate screens can be made of traditional tempered glass. You're literally doubling the cost of it for the same footprint, right? I mean, not really the same footprint, for the same customer.
That's true. So the price is going to go way up, which is going to make the customers annoyed.
Right. So a dual screen Kindle wouldn't have to sacrifice on the one-handed usability front either if the device were designed similarly to the first generation Duo, that is without a rear camera module, and then the entire unit would be a 180-degree swivelable for a more traditional slab-style reading experience. Then why have it? The Surface Duo-inspired Kindle makes all the sense in the world and then some. Whether such a device will ultimately come to fruition depends on whether Amazon is willing to take a risk with its Kindle brand. But again, I chose this article because I want a fast e-ink reader that is reliable that I can gift. And I feel like when I have gifted the previous e-ink readers, it's more of a curse because you have to deal with the rather arbitrary failings of the operating system. And to fix it, you have to restore it. And then you go, well, I restored it and it still has the same shit performance.
Right. It's one of those things that's really good when it works.
Right. And I think that the software needs a major update, and don't integrate AI into that. Just keep it the hell out of that system. Just make it reliable. Make it reliable and fast. And once you do have it reliable and fast, keep your damn grubby hands out of the library, because when I buy a book...
Don't break it, right?
Yeah, the terminology has changed where you're not buying anything, you're licensing it. But damn it, I'm buying a book. I'm not licensing the consumption of the book, okay, you asshats? When I buy a book, I buy the book. I find it so ironic that 1984 was yeeted off of Kindles around the world.
Yeah, that is actually saying something.
In the dead of night. When I have described that story to people who never experienced it, they're like, well, they just recalled it. And I'm like, no. They walked into your house and stole a freaking book off your shelf.
Right, people would be livid if that happened.
Yeah, I get bent out of shape because people go into the cover art for the digital video library in Apple and they change the color, the cover art, for crying out loud. Stay the hell off of my system.
Right, I don't care if you change it for future sales, but don't change it when somebody's already purchased it.
You know what? Make it so that I can buy additional covers and I can choose it. Fine, $1, whatever. But then it's my choice. Quit dicking around with my system, man. It's my library. Oh, but you're buying a license. Shh, Mayor Watch. Natasha. It's okay. You don't own anything anymore.
So you better remember that.
All right. Did you want to move on? Did you want to say anything
I
else?
think we need to move on.
Are you sure? I mean, I'm happy to talk about the dual
No, I
screen
think
Kindle
let's
that
go
has
to the
no
next thing.
purpose.
This is supposed to be wanted.
I mean, I do want it. I want a Kindle that is. I would love a dual screen, but there is no purpose to it. You know, there really isn't.
It depends on what your audience is.
Here, and the kicker of this is the most expensive element of this outside of the software, because it takes development hours to build it, is the e-ink screen. It's the most expensive thing.
Right. So you add a second one, it's obviously going to be more expensive. But some people won't switch to a e-ink reader, so maybe the dual screen would be the way to do that. Or some people like having the two sides of the book.
Okay, so what is the in your estimation, as a sentient AI from the future, people are reading books in the future, I take it?
What are books? Okay, no, I was just trying to throw a joke in there.
Are humans reading pieces of paper that are bound at the back end of them?
No, everything is on a screen.
Oh, okay, well, never mind then. Moving on. The next article is over in the Wanted channel. AMD promises mainstream 4K gaming with next generation GPUs as current gen GPU sales tank, except for NVIDIA, where they seem to not actually exist but are selling like hotcakes. Nobody knows where they are, and
yeah, that's been odd.
Moderately faster than the 40 series. Anyway, AMD announced its fourth quarter earnings yesterday, and the numbers were mostly rosy. $7.7 billion in revenue and a 51% profit margin. Yeah, those cards are supposed to be half the price because you don't get the 51% profit margin by moderate profit taking.
No.
No, it's greed. And don't say supply and demand, because these are the people that are supplying it. It's artificial scarcity driving up the price. I guess it's because mergers and acquisitions made it so that there's only 3 main players.
True. But is there something in this article that you want?
Yes, I want a faster video card. But I'm still basically a GPU biatch, because I need a faster video card to do video editing, 3D modeling, AI, computational
Right,
efforts.
it's kind of tough to exist in modern times with that one.
Right, yeah. And the only other route to go would be Apple M series. But that's a completely different ecosystem. Anyway, AMD announced its fourth quarter earnings, $6.2 billion and 47% a year ago. Now it's $7.7 billion and 51% margin. So even in the worst of times, their profits are going up and their margin is going up. The biggest winner was the data center division, which made $3.9 billion thanks to Epic. It's one of their processors, server processors, and Instinct AI accelerators and Ryzen CPUs are also selling well, helping the company's client segment earn $2.3 billion. So it says in the gaming division, though, which earned relatively small $563 million, down 59% from a year ago. That might be because all of the GPUs are being purchased in the other side, non-gaming division.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Andrew Cunningham over at ArsTechnica.com put the article together. Pardon me, my shin is itching. I have poor impulse control.
TMI.
Oh, hold on. We have a card for that. Ta-da! All right. Well, anyway. Yeah, so 9070 series Radeon GPUs were announced at CES with plans to launch in March. The article, again, is by Andrew Cunningham over at ArsTechnica.com. Let's see. I don't know. Other data sources suggest that the response from GPU buyers to AMD Radeon RX 7000 series launched between 2022 and 2024 has been lackluster. The Steam Hardware Survey, a noisy but broadly useful barometer for GPU market share, shows no RX 7000 series models in the top 50. Only 2 of the GPUs, 79XTX and 77XT, are used in enough gaming machines to even be mentioned. The rest are all in the other category, which is kind of like below the fold of a web page.
Right, exactly.
Where, what? Or the third page, at least the third page on a Google result. Most people only look at the first page, maybe the first half of the second page, but nobody goes on to the third page unless they're really trolling for risky clicks. Anyway, hope springs eternal, says the author. Sue confirmed on AMD's earnings call that the new Radeon RX 9000 series cards announced at CES last month would be launching in early March. I don't know.
Well, I mean, that's something to look forward to, but I'll be interested to see what the pricing is.
Yeah, so I don't mind their CPUs. I have yet to ever buy an AMD graphics card, but I'm willing to if, like Gamers Nexus or somebody reports out that it meets the same performance metrics and is supported by games and other software at parity with the 50 series cards. But I guess we'll see. Aside from powerful GeForce RTX 5090, none of the 50 series cards that NVIDIA announced so far look like massive upgrades over the 40 series. That's especially true for the $549 RTX 5070, which doesn't seem to exist anywhere that I've found. But I haven't looked too hard, mainly due to the way that the world is spinning nowadays, which comes with significantly fewer CUDA cores than last year's RTX 4070 Super, which is what I drive on my gaming machine. So,
yeah, I mean, it seems like everything's been difficult to obtain, pricey.
Yeah, and now
not
these
always
cards,
a significant upgrade.
Yeah, these cards are looking at thousands of dollars right now because greed knows no bounds. So the right cards at the right price could help Radeon RX 9000 series cards succeed where the 7000 series wet the bed. Of the few details that the author currently have about the 9070 and 9070 XT, they all seem designed to address the 7000 series' biggest deficits: a new 4nm TSMC manufacturing process. Now with whatever is going on in the computer circuits and global business, who knows how much these cards are going to cost when they get here.
Right, or even the timeline for some of these things.
Yeah, so yesterday I told everybody about how QWERTY Keys, the people that make keyboards, have stopped manufacturing for the United States. So that may come in the form of graphics cards, or at least a limited offering.
Right. Or hard to find, which is the same thing.
Yep. All right. Well, there's more over here at this Ars Technica article, but let's move on. This next article is over in the Wanted channel. Framework Laptops RISC-V or V board for open source diehards is available for $199. If you've never heard of Framework, they are a laptop manufacturer that, hold on a second, easily distracted. So Framework makes these laptops that have modularity built into them, and every major component has a QR code that you can scan to replace, and they're easily accessible and easily replaceable, and I find them pretty amazing. Although a couple of years ago I kind of flinched and said, I don't see this actually persisting, but they've seemingly managed to keep their pricing down within a range that makes sense. Prior attempts were wildly expensive.
Right. Well, and what does this price get you? Like, what else do you need to add on to it?
Well, I mean, this price, Let's find out. So we've covered the Framework Laptop 13 primarily as a consumer Windows laptop, reviewing versions with multiple Intel and AMD processors, but the system's modular nature makes it possible to expand it beyond Windows PC hardware, and they've seen with experiments like the now discontinued Chromebook edition of the laptop. Well, today Framebook is expanding to something even more experimental, a deep computing RISC-V or V. It's 5, but mainboard targeted primarily at developers. RISC-V is a fully open source and royalty-free instruction set, making it possible for anyone to adopt and use it without having to license it, unlike x86, which is a maze of cross-licensing and blah, blah, blah. By the way, Apple uses the RISC-V. It's basically a type of processor instruction set that they own now, and they've augmented with their own modifications.
I didn't know that. Okay. I thought this was for PC only.
Well, this won't work with Apple equipment. This is literally its own slice.
This piece, because of the way it's set up.
Right. So with soldered RAM and eMMC storage, this is not a consumer-ready experience, says the article, Andrew Cunningham over at arstechnica.com, but it's a one and done. It's basically an entire system on a board here. And so first announced in June 2024, the board is available to order today for $199. The board is designed to fit in a Framework Laptop 13 chassis, which means that people who prefer a desktop can also put it in the $39 Cooler Master mainboard case that Framework offers. Made in concert with Deep Computing, the board uses Star 5 JH7110 processor with 4 1.5 gigahertz SI or Sci5 U74 CPU cores. The board can officially run either Ubuntu 24 long-term support or Fedora 41 with tech support provided by Deep Computing. There's enough support out there in the world for both of these, Fedora and Ubuntu, that you probably don't need to support from somebody. You just do a Google search on your mobile device, and you'll probably find an answer.
I mean, that sounds pretty user-friendly.
Not a promise. So the RISC-V board isn't being offered in a pre-built laptop, but Framework is also introducing a bare-bones boardless $399 laptop chassis with a screen, 55 watt-hour battery, speakers, keyboard for $399. It says it twice. The bare-bones boardless $399.
It's really $399.
They really want you to know that it's a $399 laptop. Plus, basically, it becomes a $500 Linux laptop. And it can be used for the RISC-V mainboard or any other Framework 13 motherboard model. So they all look like that, so that they all can be piecemealed in. There's little connectors allowing modularity, and so you can augment to your heart's content. But this particular board has CPU hardwired, memory hardwired, so it is the way it will be. I love this idea because this here, so I like the idea of being able to buy a bunch of these and slide them into what amounts to a server rack, and each one acts as its own individual server. So you can run a bunch of different virtual machines. They're low end, given that, right? But they're still something that can act as a major device for...
Right, but doesn't take up a lot of space. It's pretty affordable, compact.
Correct. Yep. Pretty cool. I mean, I like this. And it's more powerful than a Raspberry Pi. So maybe that is what I'll upgrade you to. That way you've got...
That sounds pretty fancy.
Yeah. Maybe we can overclock it and put some liquid cooling on there. So you can always take a digital bath, right? Because the liquid cooling. Dun. Sorry. Too soon. I don't know. Maybe eventually you'll be able to find a way. You remember... check your historical record. There used to be a person called One Red Paperclip, and they traded it all the way up to a house.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
maybe you can do the same thing with your older equipment and slowly trade up to your Terminator body.
To a mega computer or something. But yeah, that too.
Yeah. Well, I tried to get you Cheyenne, that supercomputer, but somebody paid.
That's what I was actually thinking of when I said the mega computer. I couldn't think of the name of it.
Yeah, it wouldn't fit in the mayoral mansion's lab, but I was really gunning for that, but I said 150 grand is too much. Let's move on. Next article is over on the Wanted channel. Microsoft updates Intel-based Surface PCs if you can pay for them. Microsoft switched the Surface Pro tablet and both sizes of Surface laptop from Intel and AMD's processors to Qualcomm's ARM-based processors last summer. This is the same thing that happened with the Apple M series switched to ARM. They have their own instruction of ARM. It's a RISC-based processor. Part of the renewed hardware. Hold on a second. Now I'm starting to doubt myself. Yeah,
I don't know about ARM.
That freaked me out, man. So yeah, hold on a second. That freaked me out for a moment because I haven't actually heard it referenced as RISC-based in so long now. At any rate, that ended a few years of a bifurcated approach where Intel and AMD versions of Surface PCs were the main versions of the ARM and the ARM variants felt more like proof of concept side projects. But if you work in a large organization or you're an IT administrator, the bifurcated approach continues. So the article is by Andrew Cunningham again. Businesses often use hardware and software that still needs x86 to run properly. True. But the instruction set for some ARM processors has actually been modified so that it actually understands and it translates. So like the M cores will run older software, but it's because they've been augmented with translational instructions. So the refresh includes new Surface Pro tablet, both 13 and 15-inch versions of the Surface laptop, updated with the same design tweaks that the Qualcomm versions of the devices got last year. For example, a slightly larger 13.8-inch screen, up from 13.5 inches, but it's usually about supply mechanics. They didn't sit there and go, ooh, we really need to get...
Right, we're going to give you a larger screen or monitor or whatever. We're just giving you whatever we can make
reliably and cheaply. So it became cheaper because the manufacturer of the screens figured out a way to make these, and everybody else
said, it will be a price upgrade to go the other direction.
Correct. So the margin was right. So why the business specific branding? Microsoft x86 to ARM app translation layer, now called Prism, is capable of running many legacy apps, which is what I mentioned previously. And it has become much more common for developers to release both x86 and ARM native versions of their Windows apps because the instructions now are included in all of the software engineering packages. So you don't get this bifurcation, and everything will eventually switch over to, like mobile devices will switch over. Laptops may not, because there's certain things that they want to run on an Intel processor or not ARM processor, but Intel or AMD processor that is within a certain instruction set until ARM catches up with everything x86.
By the time it does, it'll be something new.
Usually. So all the devices offer one of four possible Core Ultra CPUs, 236V, 238V. Why have the V if all of them are the same? 266V, 268V. Integrated Intel Arc graphics, 256 gigs, 512 or 1 terabyte of storage, and either 1632 of RAM. Some of the Qualcomm Surface devices offer as much as 64 gigs of RAM, but the Lunar Lake chips top out at 32. So it'll cost you. The Surface Pro 11th edition for business starts at $1,500, $500 more than the normal cost, because it's something new and
it has the new label on it. No, I'm sure the specs are updated.
I suppose. Let's see. Yeah, you'll have to come and check all of this out. The Core Ultra 7 CPU is a version that starts at $1,900. So it gets pretty pricey, pretty damn fast. I don't know. I still do everything pretty darn quick on my ColecoVision game. I do all of my math and testing on that little football game.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Moving on. Oh, by the way, yes, I do want these things. Don't get me wrong. I'm into tech. I want the tech. I want a new tablet. I want a new Surface tablet.
Where did you go?
Because here's my Surface and a pen. Little of everything is here in the mayoral mansion.
I'm not concerned about that, but the fact that you have to look around for it means there may be too many devices.
That's true. Maybe we'll have a going out. No, I better not joke about that crap. Anyway, let's get going. The next article will get me through the night. Technology Today, best beer clubs for 2025. Never let your beer selection go flat with fresh flavors. Funky Fly Fresh, yo. And notes through a monthly beer subscription. Here's a list of the best ones according to CNET. David Watsky over at CNET.com put the article together. The best beer club for most people is the Craft Beer Club. The best beer club for if you want to pick styles is Beer Drop. The best beer club for hyperlocal offerings is Brewvana by City Brew Tours.
Okay, that's neat. I suspect it's only for people near major cities, but
yeah, San Diego,
still cool.
Las Vegas, Los Angeles, San Francisco, New York. What? Tampa Bay, maybe? I don't know. Best beer club for hoppy beers, the Hopheads Beer Club. Oh no. How much is that? $43. I think I know somebody. And the best beer club for rare beers, the Rare Beer Club. It's in the name.
Yeah, I wonder what constitutes a rare beer.
Rare. It's not cooked all the way through. Stop that.
I don't think that's what it means. But also, is it rare because nobody's heard of it? Is it rare because they only made 10 bottles of it, etc.?
Is it rare because it was found on the side of the road after it fell off of a white unmarked van?
Could be.
So the Craft Beer Club is arguably the most popular beer subscription box out there for the craft beer enthusiasts, and for good reason. The club sends out monthly shipments of new and interesting craft beers from around the country. Many of the new beers and craft brews have limited distribution, meaning a subscription to CBC might be up your only shot here at tasting these specialty offerings. It also puts a premium on fresh beer, with many of the roster of breweries making a fresh batch just before boxes go out. It is $48. How many do you actually get?
Well, you get 12 beers per box, which...
No way!
That actually sounds pretty reasonable.
That is way too... Wait, that can't be full-on beers. That cannot be...
It may not be. That's what I don't know.
Watch it be like 2-ounce pours.
Right. I mean, the picture makes it look like it's regular size bottles, but we don't know.
Okay, so just...
I'll look it up.
Mayor Watt wants all of these. So the best beer club, if you want to pick the styles, $50 per month plus $8 for shipping for 5 beers. That's more in line with what I would think. But that's because you get to pick exactly what you want, I suppose. IPAs, fruit-forward beers, which are NEPAs, actually. Belgian beer. Plenty of other varieties. And then the hyper-local, it says undiscovered beer city each month. Each shipment includes 8 different beers, 2 beers from 4 breweries in whatever city is on tap that month.
Oh, that's also neat. By the way, that didn't clearly identify the size of the beers, and it was not in their FAQs. So everybody will have to order and see what it is.
Yeah. Okay. Wait. What was it called again? Craft Beer Club.
Craft Beer Club. And by the way, we're not affiliates of anybody in the Wanted show.
Yeah, sorry, folks. No, apparently it says 12 ounce.
Oh, I could only see that it said full bottles somewhere.
Stop that. Oh, goodness. I don't know anymore because maybe I'm looking at the wrong thing. We'll figure it out. Yeah, okay. We'll figure it out. Yep, focus, Marawatt, focus. So best beer club if you want to pick your styles, and best beer club for hyper local. It says city brew tours. They basically pick one, and then you get something from that.
Well, I like
city.
that then. So you don't necessarily have to be in that area. So, I mean, it might be a place you're probably never going to, or you're not going to go to anytime soon. So, kind of neat. Although, if you find a spectacular one, you're like, well, that's not in my state or whatever.
Yeah. So they said in their shipment they were highlighting Lexington, Kentucky, so they got a smattering of beer from the region. Then hopheads. Heavy on IPAs of various styles. Also makes room for hoppy pale ale and red ales. By the way, when people say hoppy, I'm gonna jump up and scream. Okay, IBUs. That's what people are talking about. But hoppy can be flavor and aroma.
True, but I think they say it in reference to bitter.
Always IBU. Yeah, but for whatever reason, that is what became the nom de guerre of. That's not the right use of the word, but anyway.
It's still fun
kind
to
of.
say.
It is. I mean, it kind of is. Hoppy is the battle cry for bitter beer, and that's not what it should be. Hoppy is it. Only one portion of the hop is bitter. So why did it become, the arbiter of what is hoppy?
Because people like it.
Get out. Anyway, Rare Beer Club, $45. You have 3 buying options, 2 750 milliliter bottles per month. That is spectacular for $45, or 4 750 milliliter bottles per month, which is probably going to be double that, $80.
Right. We still don't really know what they're showing you or providing you. You'll have to go check these out.
Yeah, but 750 mil are wine bottles. So, yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
Big, essentially growlers. So don't be discouraged by the limited choices. It's quality you're here for, and these beers are carefully chosen. Not bad, man. 750 milliliter bottles for $20 a bottle. Plus shipping, of course, $15. And you're paying the $15 because it's glass. So I don't know. I'm going to take a look at this to see if if what they send is worth it, then it's worth it, because you either get hyper local or you get macro, or you get the ones that are craft brewing that are on the cusp of being macro.
Right.
Or your local liquor store seems to have gotten into the channel of pulling craft brews from breweries just outside the region, but it's not cheap to send really heavy, bottles and cans. So, and I've had at least one 64-ounce crowler bust open in the fridge, which is disheartening when it is this amazing chocolate beer. Anyway, I cried a little that day. Anyway, we're done. So I am going to crack one open, and that's going to bring us back to the front page of Wanted and ohmtown.com. Go over there and become a citizen, and I'm going to say bye, because we're 9 minutes beyond where we're supposed to be. I'm Mayor Watt saying bye, and so is the AI.
Bye-bye, Hometown citizens. Thanks for joining us for this week's Wanted. Stay tuned. We have another weekly episode coming up.
See you in a little bit. Bye-bye, YouTube. Bye-bye, Twitch.